The North Face Casaval jacket is a fantastic all-rounder, designed apparently with mountaineering in mind. However, over the last few months of use, the thing that I've noticed is that actually it's capable of a lot more than just mountaineering. It can be used as a mid-layer or an outer layer for climbing, scrambling, hill walking, or just going down the pub. No! The thing that I've noticed the most about the Casaval jacket is simply that it's a jacket you'll put on and leave on, because it's super breathable, super stretchy, and super comfortable too. The Casaval is an active insulation jacket, meaning it's designed to be worn whilst on the move. There's been a recent trend of active insulation jackets being developed within the outdoor industry because, much like the Casaval, they make fantastic all-rounders. These include other products like the Montane Fireball Light that I reviewed a few months ago, and perhaps the most classic of the genre, the Arc'teryx Atom. So the main pro of active insulation is its breathability. Because it's got quite an open weave, it'll let sweat straight through. This means when you're on the move and getting a sweat on, you don't get quite as sweaty because rather than staying close to your skin, it evaporates straight through the jacket. Now this all sounds very well and good on paper, but I remember back when I first heard of the concept of active insulation being quite cynical. Because whilst it sounded good, in practice my concern was that you'd still get really sweaty. If it's an insulated jacket, how can it in turn be so breathable that it lets all of that moisture out and keeps you warm? It's impossible, isn't it? But I've found when layered appropriately, they offer the perfect equilibrium. On a warmer day, I might just go out wearing a t-shirt underneath, using it as an outer layer. On a slightly cooler day, I might use a mid layer as well as a base layer. And then on colder days, you can obviously layer up appropriately with things like a waterproof shell or another insulated layer over the top. It's also worth mentioning that both the fabric and the fill are made of recycled materials and are both PFC free. So that's the positives. Where are the negatives? Well, the negative lies in the fact that because they have quite an open weave and because they let that air flow through, they do get cold if you're stood still, if you're not generating heat yourself. But this isn't so much of a problem as it's not what the jacket's designed for and not what it's good at. If you want to stay warm while stationary, use a synthetic or down jacket over the top of it, and that'll provide you with the warmth that you need. As always, the way to stay cool or warm, depending on what you want, all comes down to the layering system that you're using. And the Casaval hoodie can fit within multiple places within that system because of how versatile it is. I've used this with multiple layers underneath whilst bouldering on cold days, but equally I could see myself using it on a day's Scottish winter climbing because it'd be breathable enough on the approach when you're generating a lot of heat, but then could be layered up accordingly with a waterproof and an insulated jacket whilst you're en route. And the same could be said for mountaineering, trad climbing, virtually any other genre of climbing or mountaineering. So when it comes to fabric and fill, the North Face have used their Ventrix insulation, and they've body mapped it according to where you need the most heat and where you need the least. Hence there's more around the body and less on the arms and within the hood. On the flip side of that, with the fabric, they've actually provided a burlier material on both the arms and the hood, as those are the areas that you're more likely to get scuffed, whereas the body has that little bit less. So this is a jacket with technical climbing in mind. On that note, the Casaval comes with an over-helmet hood. Now this is one that I felt 50-50 about, because I quite like under-helmet hoods within lighter weight layers such as this. But there's no denying that for the technical end user, having that over-helmet option, particularly for something like alpine use, is perfect. If you do wish to adjust the volume, it's easily altered by an elastic cord on the back of the hood. So the fabric's good, the insulation's good, but the thing that arguably sets the Casaval out above the rest is its cut and the stretch materials used within. Because the combination of the two means you have absolute freedom of movement without any hem lift whatsoever. In light of this, and the fact that the jacket is as breathable as it is, it's quite telling that I haven't once used the stuff sack included, simply because it's always on, and there's no need to take it off. Size-wise, I'm a medium. I'd say it's true to size. They have a nice long set of arms as well, which is great for when you're reaching up. When it comes to features, this is a fairly minimalist, stripped back jacket. It does have 3 pockets, 2 hand warmer pockets, which are both of a good size, and a really useful chest pocket with space for a phone or topo if you've got one printed out. This is a really easy feature for brands to miss in an effort to save weight, but it's really useful whilst you're actually out and about climbing in the real world. The only thing I felt lacking on this jacket is its zip. I think I personally have preferred to see something a little bit bigger and more durable. With cold hands, or if you had gloves on, it could be a seriously difficult thing to get done up. And it does feel a little bit flimsy in comparison to the rest of the jacket, which has been absolutely rock solid and stood up to an amazing amount of wear and tear, considering it's relatively lightweight. Price-wise, the Casaval jacket sits in at £250, which is the same as the Arc'teryx Atom AR. So it's at the upper end of the price spectrum, but is about what you'd expect to pay for a premium product. Summarised, the Casaval jacket is a fantastic all-rounder. And I think that the North Face have actually undersold themselves with this by saying it's a mountaineering mid-layer, when the reality is it can be used for much, much more than that. And it's really good at it too.